Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Jalen. So we're having a live in-game chat here for Northwestern State taking on the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns. Currently 5-4 in the bottom of the fourth here. That, in addition to that as well, we're going to be talking about Louisiana Tech tomorrow for a little bit. And, of course, we'll take a look at this Texas State series here. So, like I said previously, scores 5-4, bottom fourth. Cajuns got runners on second and third. Connor Cuff is at third. He's singled to the center field. Mandino had grounded out to second base. And let's see here. So, Wright is up the bat here for the Cajuns. So, he so far, I can't talk today. The Cajuns so far are 7-17, 412 hitting batting average wise for this game. That one base on balls here, and runners in scoring position are 3 of 7. So it's nice to see a 429 average there. You do want to get above 500, especially when that's there. That's kind of like the gold standard there for sure. But the 3 of 7, 429, not too bad at all there. So Cajuns are doing a little bit better than Northwestern State in terms of getting up to the plate, 7 out of 17, 412 bat, and then Northwestern State ain't no slouch either, 5 of 17 with 294 so far. So 300 is about average for a ball club anyway. So right now, Northwestern State is a pitching change. Cajuns have 1 out here, so looking pretty good for the Cajuns right now. Jalen, what you thinking?
Yeah, Chief, the Cajuns are looking pretty good. I know we talked about last time how the Cajuns had to play better. Of course, coming to the end of the season, we're now in April. But guess what? The Cajuns, guess what they did? They swept JMU. I think that's something that a lot of people are happy to see. I know I'm happy to see. Swept JMU right there at the Teague. 3 straight wins for the Cajuns going into this matchup right now against Northwestern State, looking for 4 wins in a row. I mean, and hey, I know today's April Fool's Day, Chief, but that's not a lie. I'm not trying to swindle people, the viewers out there. The Cajuns are on a 3-game win streak, looking for 4 against Northwestern State, with following up Wednesday's matchup against LA Tech. So it's looking good for the Cajuns so far, Chief. What you thinking?
Well, I mean, the Tech game, if you look at ahead so far here, so Northwestern State right now, RPI is at 90. Louisiana Tech 164. So I'm thinking the Cajuns back, even though Tech does have if you look at both these squads, they do have better overall records than the Cajuns here. But I do think it will end up winning both these games here. 12-15, so they do have a losing record, but their RPI is 127. Now, the good thing with the Cajuns, and I have harped about this for weeks, and I like to repeat it every single week because I want this whenever it comes down to tournament time, that they're going to look at all aspects of this here. So strength of schedule is a very important step, and we will update that every single week. So, I mean, this number is very fluid, but it gets less fluid the more games you play. Obviously, Cajuns are in the top 20 in the strength of schedule. They're number 16 currently right now, R29. So when we get to NCAA tournament play, I want that RPI to go down. I would feel a lot better with it being down. 79 is way too high for you to get into the postseason at large. At an at large bid, you want to make so that would put the Cajuns. You have to win to get into the tournament here. With the, I personally, I wanted you under a 50. I think you're kind of on the bubble somewhat, 50 through 64. There's 64 teams in there, so you got to take into account all the conferences champions are going to bids. So whenever you start looking at it that way, you're like, okay, these numbers are starting to shrink. So that's why I say 50 is a good number. I think that's the really the bubble there. They can swing either way, and that's where the strength of schedule will come into play here. But now, if you don't have a good strength of schedule, that puts you behind the 8 ball for sure. So if you don't have a good strength of schedule, which the Cajuns do right now, luckily for the Cajuns, but I would like to see it obviously higher than a 50. I want it to be around the top 40 or less, given it that way. So right now, win probability currently, Cajuns are at 80% currently right now. They are leading 5-3 here. So but yeah, like I know we had some people were kind of questioning why you even said that was a must win series for the Cajuns with the South Alabama, because did y'all see what happened the last 2 weekends? If you wasn't living under a rock, they swept JMU. You got 2 out of 3 against South Alabama. So the last, we're not going to talk about LSU. LSU was a disaster, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
leave it at that. That was just a bad game. It's got to chalk it up like that, which, I mean, we both kind of had a feeling it was going to get out of hand because the Cajuns they're still trying to find themselves. J.R. To, not Tole pitched very well in that game for, you know, no runs for, only giving up. I pencil him as a Sunday guy. I wouldn't put in a permanent ink because I want to see consistency out of him for more than one showing on a Sunday. I want to see him go for 2, 3, or maybe 4 series deep into the season before I even give him more opportunities like that. I want to see consistency, and that's not just for him. That's for this whole entire Cajun team lining up here. I think that's their biggest problem so far this year is just being consistent and winning games in that regard there. So, um, Jalen, what you think about this? Right now, it's 5-4 in the fourth here. Connor Higgs struck out. I mean, not Higgs and Wright struck out. Connor Higgs grounded out. So, what you think, Jalen?
I think the Cajuns are going to pull off this win against Northwestern State. You just need to keep it up. I think also they're going to beat this Louisiana Tech team coming up. And I know it's kind of a back-to-back, but not in the same day, but between Tuesday and Wednesday playing Louisiana Tech. But I'm intrigued too. Coming up after that, Chief, the Cajuns can go on a bit of a run because if you look at the schedule, they have the next Sun Belt matchup series against Texas State, but guess what? That's right there at the T2. So they have to play right there at home, and then after that, they're playing a couple of home games against a team that's right there, UTRGV, who we talked about last week on the pod. After that, so I think the Cajuns, if it's any time right now to go on a win streak, it's right now. Keep building that momentum they have after they beat JMU, and then just beat these two local teams in the state, and then you got the matchup against Texas State, which I think they'll be able to win those games also.
Yeah, I apologize if y'all are watching this stream live on YouTube right now. Um, I'm a big dummy. Okay, I'm gonna say that right now. I'm a dummy because I did not change it from last week. It's showing Raging Cajun versus James Madison preview, and we obviously know that happened last week. So disregard that. After the episode, I'll go in there and fix it. I got sidetracked. I guess I was working on like tickers or something. But yeah, that's what happens whenever you're not double checking your stuff here. So
This
big
is one of
dummy
them
moment for
days.
me. Hey, look, I might as well. It's April Fool's Day. I got to pass on that one.
I'll
I
give you
got to
that one.
pass on that one. April
I'll
Fool's
give
Day.
you that one.
Okay. But yeah, getting back into the game here. Um, West State coming back into the fourth inning here. Cajuns have left far. Northwestern State left 2. Both teams have far. Cajuns have 7 hits on 5 runs so far. Northwestern State they've kind of taken this game. They have 5 hits and they scored a run in the fourth inning. Cajuns have been scoreless through the last 2 frames of these innings. Northwestern State has 3 runs in the third and 1 in the fourth, and now we're starting the top of the fifth here. Uh, let's see. Tate Hess is still pitching for the Cajun. Stephenson is coming up to bat for Northwestern State, batting 300. On base percentage at 472. So far today, 2 at bats, 1 RBI so far for him today. So it's something to keep track of here as we go through. Number 2 in the order so far, and they got 3 and 4 following him up as well there. So that kind of looking ahead here. So let's talk about Texas State a little bit here. I think we need to kind of series are more important because even if the Cajuns drop these 2, you got to beat Texas State here because I'm going to pull up something and I'm going to share my screen here real quick because I'm going to give you a reason why it's so important for this to – let me see here. I need to move this down. Share screen. Let's see right here. That's the one I want to share.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you see where the Cajuns are at in baseball, right?
Yes, I do.
Right there at 6-3. You're one game back from Southern Miss. This is why it's important to kind of see what's going on here. So let's look and see how these other teams in front of the Cajuns are looking here. Southern Miss, Troy, and um, Coastal Carolina. So looking down here, they won 2 or 3 against South Alabama. They're playing ball. So that's something that we'll have to look at forward. They're going to be on the road there. Southern Miss is playing 2 games series on the road at Marshall, at Texas State. So we're gonna see a good bit here. But let's go back to the schedule here. Let's look at Troy here. So we're gonna pull up Troy here real quick here, and looking at them, we see that they're gonna be at Old Dominion and at James Madison. So they got 2 road Sun Belt Conference series to play there as well. Get out the way. Okay, Coastal Carolina. So Coastal Carolina, looking at it here, you got Arkansas State at home, then you got at Georgia State. So you kind of, you should take care of business at home. That's how usually it should go here. Arkansas State hasn't done really that well this year in baseball, which they typically are never really been that good of a ball club in baseball. I mean, they're 4-5, 13-14 so far. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not good either. They're kind of right in that middle there, like UOM in South Alabama. That's what kind of worries me a little bit because the Cajuns have played. They won. These are the 2 teams that they have beaten in Sun Belt, and they're not really doing that well in Sun Belt play. Even overall records are not good to say here. So, look, they metrics they need to sweep. They needed to sweep James Madison anyway. So let me stop sharing this here. I want y'all to see what's up ahead for the Cajuns here. So, let's see. I want to. I think I need to share my screen again. Let's go look at this upcoming for the Cajuns here. State coming in 3 games, 7. That's actually that's all Eastern time. So this is Eastern time. This is how Warren Nolan does it. So you got 2 o'clock and a 1 o'clock on a Sunday. So they're 127 here. So the Cajuns, like I said, if you are just joining it here, we're looking at this right here. This is a number you want to pay attention to, 79. Typically, I like these numbers to be in the top 50 large because you got to take into account all the conference champions that will be in there. But there's still time. This number isn't bad. I would love if this is important. Like these are good. These 2 are right here where my mouse is at, right here. If you're paying attention, these are good. These are what you want. But this has to get a little bit better. You want this to get a little bit better so you can impress the and thinking that, you've actually, when you done a tough schedule, you were able to win in a tough schedule. So that's Western State doesn't really help you too much in regards to that here. Back to the top of the 5th, lead 5-4 outs, and Gump reach on a throwing error. Like this is what I mean. Second game for the Cajuns. This is a third base throw to first. Routine play. Line hard drive, I don't care. If you knocked it down or whatever, it's error. So that means you didn't need what you needed to do. Set your feet properly. And we've seen that happen all throughout this year. We have seen it happen the entire year. I keep harping about consistency. That's the problem that I'm seeing with the Cajuns. Just consistency across the board. And granted, we won 3 straight games, but I mean, a series sweep against James Madison. You could look at it right here. At home, good. But consistency wins championships. And that's what I keep harping about. If you're not consistent, you won't be successful. It's fundamental stuff. Like when I talk about the throwing errors and stuff. I'm not on the team. It's not being a world great. It's just facts. Whenever this, flaws definitely show up, and you're wondering why you're not close. I mean, you're not where you need to be. So, Northwestern State, Louisiana Tech here. Like I predicted, I think they win both these midweek games. Series against Texas State. Texas State's hitting one. They're 127. They're if you look here, I'll pull up their things so I can get a good look here. Live guys got 120. See, all kind of here's where this at. Here's two decent strength of schedule. I would not to at large conference, so they voted to Cajuns. They want to improve this two quadrant, or their quadrant 3. That's brutal. That's why I think the Cajuns do need to win this series here. I think they will end up beating Texas State. I think they'll take 2 or 3. I don't think they'll be with them, but 2 or 3 should be good. I think a 4-1 weekend, a 4-1 weekend should be very good for the Cajuns here. Louisiana Tech, they really shouldn't have too much trouble with Tech here. Guys, if you look at their strength, they've had an easy strength of schedule. 2/3 very weak, and they won their quadrant 3 games. So I mean, it's good for them, but they haven't really played anybody. I mean, if you look at it here, it's fool's gold when you got a 17-11 record and you hadn't played anybody. So right now, LSU's taking care of business against them 5-1 right now. And the Tigers are at the bat right now. Live probability update 93.5 for LSU, 6.5. So that's what's going there. Then they take on the Cajuns at home. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with baseball here. I think we them to end up these. Let's switch up softball here real quick here. Let me here so y'all can see what's going on here. I guess it took it off or whatever. So forgive me on this here. Let's see. I think here. Okay. This is not. So they played Coastal last week. Cajuns. Yeah. Board update that real quick. I did put. I apologize for that.
All right, Chief. We can't keep using April Fool's as an excuse now. Today, with Troy here, the Cajuns are going to be playing tomorrow. They do have a little special. You can buy 4 tickets for $32 general admission. So, which is not too bad of anything going on today. Shit, I keep track of everything. Okay, so I'm sharing this tab. Okay, so the Cajuns are playing Tech tomorrow for softball, just to kind of keep it this distinction. Yes, they're playing Tech in both baseball and softball. So y'all have to bear with me here. Louisiana Tech in baseball is not doing so well, but in softball they're doing pretty decent. 71, Troy at 79. They're coming off a 2 out of 3 series loss to Coastal here. Unknown really for the Cajuns here. This year, they lost 2 out of 3 Sunbelt series. It hasn't been looking good in Sunbelt play, to be quite frank with everybody here. I said at the beginning of the season, I thought this team would make it to the regionals on an at-large bid. Look at the RPI. They're right at 50. Their strength of schedule is at. So that's good news. Conference is very good. So you obviously want both to be in there.
Their quad record's good. They're 6-4, but I want this to be a little bit better though. A little bit quad improved, but they lost a lot. Like I said many times when they opened the season against Seton Hall, they were just trying to find their bearings right, and they got back right. But they got some people back that have been injured and stuff, and they went on a they were on a 4-game skid until Sunday, so that they need to be consistent too. This is another one with consistency is a trouble with this team here because this softball team this year has a hard time closing games out. They can get in there, but they usually, I mean, if you look at it, if they got a bad start, they're going to be in bad shape here because they have to rely on them trying to do late surges to win these games sometimes, and it just doesn't pan out for them. It's not really a bad thing, but like I mean, you can't expect to keep winning games whenever you're just in that kind of situation there, when you're having to constantly come back from behind to win. What you think, Jalen?
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Chief, because this team has lost, what is it, four of their last five that we're just looking at right now, and that's including their series against Coastal Carolina where they lost the first two, and then they lost to LSU before that, and then lost to UL. So consistency is something that this team needs to add. Now they did get pick up the win against Coastal going into the game, like you said, Wednesday against Louisiana Tech. This game the Cajuns need to win against this in-state rival, and then go into their next series, which is going to be.
Yeah, Troy is what you're going to be looking at there. That's something that it's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to go there. So you got Troy coming up there at Troy and that kind of thing, and we'll see what happens there. But if you're looking at it here, Troy, uh, Georgia's sitting right there, RPI 79. They're going to be up there. So we'll see what happens here with that series here. I think they can win this series here. It's just, man, like I hate like the come behind stuff with this team here this year, and that's just try. That's just what you got to try to do. You just got to try to win these games whenever you can, and just put yourself in a good position. This Cajun team, I still believe will make it to a regional. I'm gonna go with the history of it here because I just think they need. Whenever I hear, it's like some of them in there just seem like they just lack confidence, and I think that's one thing that confidence can be a real big motivator for you here. And look, and if they're listening to this podcast or anything right now, I know we're live on Instagram, I know we're live on YouTube, but if you listen to it, look, y'all been playing this game for a long time. Ain't the fundamentals are still the same thing as it is here. Just go out there and have some fun. Don't let the moment get to you here because um, pressure is supposed to make diamonds, right? Hey, that's what I'm saying. This pressure makes diamonds. That's what you got to do here with all that there. So just don't let the pressure get to you. So we'll see what's going on here. So yeah, we'll just see what hell happens there. Like, but if you want to look at let me put the standings here so y'all can see what's going on here. So I'm gonna share this Sun Belt Conference standings here for softball. Cajuns are down here. Now you're probably looking at this like, oh no, this is a terrible season. And you're probably wondering, well, Chief, why do you think they're gonna make a regional with this low? Because the softball conference isn't the Sun Belt softball conference is not really good to get two teams in. And I agree with that. I agree, but you see what teams at the top, right? ULM, that's the same team they beat. Those two losses came from the Cajuns. So I know they can beat every single one of the team above them. They could beat any one of those. The coastal one put them in a bad spot. That 2-game losses they had, because you take away those two losses, and prior to this, the Cajuns were 3-3 in conference. Now they're 4-5. So they're gonna need. So they're 3 games behind ULM. So if they could get some sweeps going, that would be good. That would be what they would need. I don't think they're going to sweep Troy. I don't have any because they haven't swept anybody. They beat ULM 2 out of 3, and they lost 2 out of 3 to Marshall here, which I think they could have won that Marshall series. They should have won that Friday matchup against them. I'll keep saying that to the end of the year. They whenever because Marshall had 4 errors, they just didn't capitalize. I mean that Marshall team was not one that should have beat them. I don't think, but I think they'll beat Tech. I think they're gonna go beat Tech. Troy, like this team has played tough teams, but they just don't find rhythm early enough, and it usually gets out of hand for them, and they're wondering like, okay, we got to come back because if you look back, look back at it here, and you'll see here. If you look back here, I think like that
Hmm.
Marshall series occasion should have won, and you just look back and they just in bad spots at the time there. Look, they had 9 runs out hit Coastal. Then the game before that, they almost out hit Coastal, but they had 2 errors. You see, the Cajuns made a 6th and 7th inning, but they had Coastal 3-1, and then they gave it up in the third and fourth here. I don't know if the Cajun pitching is good enough to go past 3 innings here and expect them to try to win a game for you. I feel like they go 3 or 4 innings and you do 3 inning spurts in softball with this. I think that's what I'll start doing with this team because they just can't seem like they had Coastal beat on Friday 4-1 when they were going to the bottom of the 7th. And what they do, they gave away 4 runs right there, 3 errors. So it's typically a trend. If you look at this team, I'll even go back further if you want me to prove my point here. Uh, so look, 10-5. Look, if you did a 3 game spurt here, 3 inning spurt, take the pitcher out. Look, 3 runs right there, 4 runs, 2 runs right there. That adds up. I think this pitching staff is good for 3 inning spurts. I don't think you got a starter that can go 7 innings. I think you got one that can maybe go 3 or 4, but you better be ready to make a change here. Pitching by committee is going to be the way to go for this Louisiana Ragin Cajuns softball team, I believe. What you think, Jalen?
Yeah, but it's definitely cheap. Not the I wouldn't say it's the end of the world if it is, pitching by committee. Because even then, you have some fresh girls coming in there. You have fresh bodies and players that then the opposite team they would have to adjust. Because you might have a right-handed pitcher, but then you got a lefty coming in, so you never know crucial times in the game when Coach Habits is going to come in and make that change and try to spice up the game a little bit, and then that'll lead to some errors on the team trying to at bat. So you just never know. Momentum, what we talk about all the time, is a big thing, and the pitching we might say hasn't been the best for the softball team this year, but it can be an advantage depending on who was out there on the mound.
I know some of these pitching coaches are looking at matchups, so like
You have
righties and
to.
lefties, and you're trying to square it up, be the best way you can here. But that's just part of it there. So I'm gonna bring us back on camera here, and Jalen, where's your face?
See, I couldn't show my face tonight.
You couldn't show your face tonight. We're gonna call you Mummy. You got your face covered. Got the mummy. All right, so
Ladies and gentlemen, the face is right here.
okay. Oh man. Hey, it made an appearance. Oh, I was wondering why your letter didn't come up. That's what I was wondering.
That's my letter J.
All right. It's the letter J. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in here to this episode here of the Fishbowl Sports Radio. So last to kind of end this here, the Cajuns had a big, bottom of the fifth here. They now at 4, and Northwestern State batting. Benton is up the bat. Tate Hess is still out there on the mound for the Cajuns. So that's no outs. Top of the 6th, 1-1 is the count. Cajuns lead 7-4. So we'll leave it at that here. I think the Cajuns are going to be able to make a comeback. Not comeback. Keep this lead and win. I don't know what I'm even saying. Let's stop sharing that here. So yeah, that's what we got going on here. So thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. And we'll go like our April Fool's post, man. That's some funny stuff there, bro.
It's
So
been
yeah.
it definitely has been an April Fool's Day.
And don't believe anything Developing Lafayette is saying because usually, actually, here's the thing. So one of my coworkers, shout out to him if he's watching the broadcast right now, and you know who I'm talking about, Jalen. So I was in the hallway walking up to go get lunch somewhere, and he calls me. He's like into his office. He's like, "Hey, Chief," and he's like, Developing Lafayette, the page itself. He's like, every time they make an April Fool's joke about, like they made an April Fool's joke about Bucky's coming. And what was the other one? I forget what the other one he said
It was
was. I'm trying to remember
IKEA.
off the top of my head. Yo, the IKEA
IKEA.
one is like, yeah, that they end up coming to Lafayette,
I was like, there's no way.
which I do remember the Bucky's one for sure. And yeah, look, Bucky's over here now. Oh, Dave and Buster's. It was Dave and Buster's, and now Lafayette's got Dave and Buster's. So I'm just saying, they're called Developing Lafayette. Maybe they know something. They should know something we don't know, which is basically what could happen here. So, yeah, we might be getting okay. So I'm gonna make a prediction in 2028. We're gonna have IKEA open up in Lafayette.
Whoa.
28 or
Okay.
29. We're gonna have
Okay.
a IKEA opening up because based on what the recent patterns are. Oh yeah, like the conspiracy theory is gonna be like, write that down.
Definitely have to see it to believe it. But we'll see. We'll see when that time comes.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you have a great, wonderful day, and we're gonna see y'all here next time on the Fishbowl Radio. I'll probably live later tonight. Again, Juicy should be joining me for our LSU baseball series preview and LSU softball series preview as well. I know, LSU coming up a loss to South Carolina in softball. Baseball with Texas. Got to talk about that when I was last. That one needs to be in Mississippi State. We're going to talk about all that stuff there. Kind of like keep everybody up to date what's going on with LSU sports here. We like keeping track of South Louisiana sports in general here. So, but we just mainly focus on the Cajuns and LSU because, that's what we like to talk about basically here. So, thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a great, wonderful time. We'll see you here next time on the Fishbowl Sports Radio.